Hi everyone, this video is on the topic of teaching your dog to relax and listen to you around prey. Now I have a unique situation here in which I do want Mr. Bliss here to chase the squirrels and rabbits off of my acreage that I live on, because previously I had trained all my dogs to completely ignore squirrels. So squirrels and rabbits were just running all over the show, and even in my small backyard, they were just all over the place, and it started to be a squirrel and rabbit overpopulation. So I found a more humane way, which is getting Bliss and my little dog Cloud to chase them off the property, and then the other dogs can continue to ignore the squirrels. But because these guys are pretty chill, they don't get overexcited by the job. However, when we would go on walks to parks where there were squirrels, Bliss would get excited. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I'm working with him to teach him to ignore squirrels when out and about, but still be able to do his job here on my property and chase them away. This episode is on training in real-life situations. The protocol. 1. Mark looking at the distraction and feed your dog looking back at you. 2. Mark the dog choosing to offer looking back at you. 3. Reinforce your dog for not looking at all and being able to settle and relax in the environment. 4. Increase criteria. If the dog is successful with the 3 steps, you can increase criteria such as getting closer to whatever it is or making the distraction more exciting. If the dog is struggling, go back to step 1. I like to choose locations where the prey is in a very predictable area that you can get away from and create distance from. In this location, the squirrels tend to hang out near the bushes for safety and won't venture into the open area or the parking lot. So it's a great place to train. Check in the description of this video for the prerequisites such as building your relationship with your dog, conditioning the reinforcers, so they're going to be reinforcing during the training, teaching the dog the concept of a training setup, and some basic training behaviors such as turning back to you if they hit the end of the leash. The process that I like to use for my own dogs and my clients' dogs is marking the dog for looking at whatever it is, and then slowly and calmly delivering the treat to the ground with the dog facing away from the distraction, so it gives the dog a break and you can represent the trigger. The next step after multiple repetitions of marking the dog for looking is waiting and seeing if the dog thinks to offer looking back at you, which you can mark and reinforce. And then the final step is getting to the point where the dog doesn't need to look at whatever it is at all and can just relax and enjoy the environment or offer you attention. When this happens, you can increase criteria, for example, getting closer to the distraction. If your dog delays looking back after the marker, you can create distance to the point where the dog can quickly turn around when they hear their marker word. Begin stationary at a distance your dog is relaxed enough to look back immediately after they hear the marker. Next, add movement, walking back and forth or in a circle without getting closer to the trigger. Finally, practice moving toward the prey on a loose leash. Don't always make criteria harder and harder. Take a break, add more distance, or be stationary to make things easier for your dog. Here I'm moving towards the squirrels and I'm using a slow approach, so my body movement is slow, and when I put the treats down on the ground, I'm moving my hand down slowly. If you get too close too quickly and your dog gets excited, you can always create distance and go behind your car as a visual barrier.
Good. Good.
For some dogs, being stationary, such as standing at your side or laying on a mat and settling, is going to be much easier for them than when you add movement. So after adding some movement, you can create some distance and work on the exercise stationary from a distance to make it easier for the dog. Here, after approaching and reinforcing Bliss for looking at the squirrels but walking on a loose leash, I then start to walk back and forth instead of a direct approach And then we moved away from the squirrels to take a training break where he could just sniff around and enjoy the park where there weren't any squirrels. During the initial training, you're marking your dog for looking at you, and when they start to offer looking back at you, it's perfectly fine to mark and reinforce them, offering behaviors like sits or downs, but you really want to get to the point where your dog can settle and look around at the environment or move around and enjoy the environment without hyperfixating on the distraction or just staring at you.
Good boy. Good.
In 2013, I created a video on demand called Harnessing the Hunter, and that goes over how to teach your dog to listen to you and be calmer around prey.